Let's talk about chapter 270 and what will be next of the Jujutsu Society. This chapter starts off with Shoko and Megami visiting Sumiki's grave. Megami says thank you to Shoko. Then Shoko says, even if all that's left is cremation, it's worth it to make them look nice. My actions helping her feel pretty in the afterlife is all the thanks I need. She then says that Gojo should have left Geto's body to her as well. Megami then agrees with her and then takes a phone call. We then see Shoko come to a conscious decision as she thinks about smoking a cigarette, and then she decides to throw the rest of the pack away. We then jump to Gramps and Utahime talking about if Tengen's barriers are okay. It's not specified who's saying this, but they say it seems they'll remain in place as long as Sukuna's remains are preserved. And this is in reference to the barriers that Tengen used to operate. Utahime then says that they need to hurry and make some contingency plans just in case. Gakuganji then says there's no need to hurry. You're all so young. They don't need to worry themselves with such things at this moment. Then we see Maki as she goes back to Mio and Daido. Daido? Is that his name? Maki then passes Daido a katana that's a cursed tool. Because if you guys don't remember, Daido is exactly how Maki was before she had her awakening. Being that he has so little cursed energy that he cannot see spirits. And he has no way of hurting cursed spirits unless he has a cursed tool. Maki then says, now that the Culling Games has ended, there will probably be talks about what to do with incarnate types. Seeing as Megami came back alive, they'll likely have Yuji and Hana remove the cursed objects from the victims' bodies. And with Angel's technique, it's a 1% survival chance. And as far as Yuji with the soul dismantle, we don't really know. We see it is effective at removing the cursed objects from the bodies though, as that's the only reason why the sorcerers won in the first place. Maki then continues and says that, then there are the players taken by the American military during all of the chaos with the rule editions. We'll probably have to go get them back. We can't let you go as exceptions just because you're friendly. You didn't hear it from me, but since they went to public saying cursed spirits are a Tokyo exclusive phenomenon, even with the Culling Games finished, that'll be a safe zone. Curses throughout Japan are sure to keep gathering there. That's where they'll hide out. Daido takes that offer as he has no shortage of beasts to slice open, but Mio says no thanks as sumo with cursed spirits is not fun. Maki then says, do whatever you want, just know this will be the last time I'm watching you guys' back. Now get out of here. Daido then tells Maki, when it comes down to it, and you have to come find me, I hope you're the one there. I'll be sure to cut you down. We then jump over to Charles as he says magazines should remain physical. Seeing a manuscript in print can provide valuable feedback for the author. And newcomers ought to have their work printed next to a veteran author's at least once. Charles' manager then says, you have a bitter tale to tell her, don't you? Saying that Charles better hurry, as the print shop don't wait around for one newbie's one shot. We then jump to everybody's favorite, Takaba. He says, listen, it's fine to have your fair share of dirty jokes, but we should hold off on the sex jokes. Sure, we're doing some inappropriate material, but it's about shit and piss. Like Punyapun Maru or Hatori-kun. Then this mystery man with the same hairstyle as Kenjaku then says, isn't that the same thing? Takaba then says, like I've been saying, they're completely different. Are you even listening? Whatever man, let's go rehearse some new things. I'm not going to look up what Takaba and Pseudo Kenjaku were talking about here because if it's a sex joke and about shit and piss, I'm not interested. Then Ren, the guy who can make Flynn from his curse technique, goes to apologize to Yuji's school friends and they are not interested as well. Then we switch over to Higuruma and I guess his lawyer assistant. Higuruma's assistant says it looks like they're not going to prosecute. Then Higuruma, with a very depressing look on his face, says, likely pressure from the top brass. I hear they're going to be working me to the bone as a sorcerer. And if you went out there on the front lines and fought Sukuna, I'm sure you'd look the same as Higuruma. Higuruma then says, forgive me, what's left is... Higuruma assistant then cuts him off and says, a retrial. On the behalf of the bereaved, as their attorney, I'll be sure to really nail you, Mr. Higuruma. Higuruma, still with the sad face, then says, I'm counting on it. Then we jump over to Hana and Megami, with Angel inserting herself saying Sukuna striking as he did will have to mean Fushiguro's memories regarding you have already been unearthed. What's there to be embarrassed about? Megami then thinks back to Sukuna biting Angel's arm off, then says to Angel, I want to take responsibility for my actions. Let me be your right arm from now on, Kurusu. Hana quickly and embarrassingly says, do I hear wedding bells? Megami, who's never talked to girls before in his life, gets nervous and says, that's That's not what I meant. I've got a mission, so I'll talk to you later. Megami has no riz. Then we get another jump cut to an unknown couple, and the lady asks her boyfriend what would he like to eat. He then responds with, how about yakiniku? And this man's face, he looks like a goldfish with these giant big eyes. We then cut to Ijichi, and we finally get the big three. Yuji, Nobara, and Megami. Ijichi tells the group, the victim is a 26-year-old male, Sota. According to his fiancée, his face began to look as though it was morphing as of 2 weeks ago. They arrive to see Sota and they notice that his face does not look morphed. And Yuji says he looks like a dude trying to become a pro wrestler. Yuji's trying to butter him up saying, dude, you're ripped. What's your secret? And Sota just tells him that he wrestled until high school. Megami then tells Sota, apparently this is how your fiancé is seeing you, which means the one actually cursed is... They then assign Nobara to go check the lady out. Megami and Yuji talks. As Megami says, the residue here is only enough to cause an icky feeling, just as Ijichi said. There's a very low chance that this is the work of a cursed spirit. No cursed spirit is possessing her, and the residue is only enough to cause slight emotional unrest. This is probably the work of a curse user. Actually, I can't sense any intent to kill. It could be an awakened player that made it through the culling games. But we know semi-first grade cursed spirits possess free will, so they can hold back. And we've seen emulations increase the numbers of victims like at the Yasuhichi Bridge, so we can't fully rule out the possibility of a cursed spirit. Yuji then says, so this is basically just some cursed user harassment, right? That'll be a piece of cake for us three. The editor's note at the bottom says, next up, the final chapter. The gun fires for their last mission. And to think these three have only done like 3 missions really, and their 4th one will be their last one. There's not really much to say about this chapter, as we're just continuing the train of Gege patching up things and giving us our farewell. Overall, this is a good chapter and I'm not mad at it. I don't know, I guess I'm just sad that my favorite manga series at the moment is ending. Well, on the bright side, Hunter x Hunter is coming back. With all that being said, thank you for checking out my video. Hit the like, comment, and subscribe. It has been Otaku Talks.